Hi all, this is Alessandro from Sonora Cinematic, and today I'm very happy to introduce a brand new sample library and a brand new series we are launching. What you're listening to is Legato, and this instrument is the very first chapter in Sonora Cinematic Select, a series of no-frills, affordable, easy to use and incredible sounding sample libraries for the working composer and producer. Since the very beginning of Sonora Cinematic, our customers have asked us to make a true legato sample library. Legato is how we respond. Featuring the same talented, classically trained soprano you heard in our popular aria vocalscapes, Emma May Price, Legato is a fantastic collection of playable cinematic vocals with 3 articulations and a legato speed control that automatically adapts to your playing or piano roll programming. Let's have a look. This is the main interface, and you can select between humming, Poco vibrato, and Aahs, which do feature an expressive legato. And as I was playing, you probably noticed the speed control moving on its own. Before I get into that, let me tell you briefly what true legato is, just in case you don't know. When you're sampling an instrument that has the potential to play legato, like the human voice, in order to capture that performance and reproduce it on the keyboard, on top of recording every single note in the range of the musician, you may also want to record a transition between every note and every possible other. It's a lot of samples. Now, if you're playing a little faster, you want the transition to be a little faster too. And just in the same way, if you're playing a lush, emotional line, you want the transition to be slow with a touch of natural portamento. Here's where the speed control comes in. Adjust speed to suit your music or click on auto and let Legato do the job for you. When on auto mode, Legato adjusts the speed of the transition automatically, depending on the distance between the notes. The longer the distance, the slower the transition. There's also a handy key switch that allows you to turn auto mode on and off in real time, just in case you want to do adjustments on the fly in a specific passage. Now let's have a look at the sound options. So far you've been listening to what we call the white mix, a ready-to-go cinematic reverb that works great if you want epic sounding vocals. The send amount is controlled by this white nebula. But here you have a couple of extra options that you can blend in if you want a more cinematic or ambient sound. Let's have a look. The blue signal is a shimmery, very diffuse ambient with a huge tail. Let's listen to it with humming first. With Poco vibrato. And with Aahs. Pink is a slowly modulated reverb with some granular-like processing. It uses the DSP from Native Instruments' Round reverb. And the Aahs. There are also some curated snapshots that will get you very quickly to very usable sounds. Now let's have a quick look at the controls. We talked about speed already, and right above it you have the expression slider. Emma Legato's 3 articulations are all sampled in a single dynamic layer, so this doesn't do any dynamic crossfading. All it is a simple pre-effects volume control, which is very useful if you want to have extra control in the shaping of your performance. It is set to MIDI CC 11 by default, but of course you can just right click on it and MIDI learn it in typical Contacts fashion. You can also click on the cog icon to access the advanced menu. These are the controls we sort of hope you won't have to touch at all, but they're there for power users who want to have an extra level of control over the Legato engine. The first thing you might want to tweak in this menu is the impulse response. You notice that even with both reverb signals all the way to 0, the vocals are still not 100% dry. This is because under the hood we are using a convolution system to sort of place the voice in a space. It's subtle, but I think it works great as a base to add a bit of reverb, be it the white one or the blue one or the pink signal. That said, if you want to have the vocals completely bone dry and do your own processing from scratch, you can do so by simply deactivating it. Another couple of useful controls here are the attack and release for the overall sound. It's always nice to have a tiny bit of release. And finally, you have fade in, fade out, and release control for the Legato engine. These control how the engine performs the Legato transition. I really recommend not touching these at all. We spend quite a lot of time finding the sweet spot for this, so much so I personally even considered not making them available at all for the user to tweak them. But then with the team, we decided that it was actually worth it to make the engine work in some specific conditions, in some particular cases. So here you have them, but don't touch them. Thank you so very much for watching. I really hope you enjoy Emma Legato. It's currently available for an intro price on sonoracinematic.com and as a bundle with Aria Vocalscapes. See you next time.